Warfare is not a movie that is watched, it's felt. It's perhaps one of the most important films for the current state of things. And I have so many thoughts on the meaning of this movie, so stay till the end because I would love to hear about what you all think. Let's talk about one of the most impactful movies of this year so far. There are no spoilers for the actual events in the film, so you can watch this video if you haven't seen it yet. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and here we go. The concept of war provides an endless treasure trove of experiential themes that you can pull from. Tactical awareness, camaraderie, geographical location, love, romance, loyalty, brotherhood, and tragedy. The intention of most war films that have a central theme or takeaway is usually blatantly obvious, spelled out in an easily digestible format that allows the audience to get it without actually getting under their skin. Think something like Pearl Harbor and its love story. Other films do go the distance with their message. I mean, of course, war is bad, but adding gruesome imagery and effects can work against the message of the film. Why? Well, there is nothing wrong with a film portraying the horrors of war because war is brutal beyond belief. It's just very easy for audiences to be sickened by the experience, but in the end write it off as just a movie to alleviate themselves and the feelings of that experience. In Warfare, Alex Garland prioritizes the sensory experience to tell you the story of a group of men, a Navy SEAL operation within Iraq and the Afghanistan War. The SEALs recount their experiences in great detail from memory. The film gives you one of the most impactful experiences of war that I have ever seen, a sensory experience, one that cannot just be brushed off after the movie has ended, one that you cannot look away from. The film doesn't just immerse you with the visuals and story. Even in times where the story gets tense, it's not the story that you feel, it's the sound being extracted from the room, creating a sense of disorientation. There is so much happening on screen, but your ears aren't picking up all of it. It's muffled. It's like you're looking through a sound-dampened glass structure as you take in what's happening on screen. And don't get me wrong, what's happening on screen is intense. There is an all-out firefight happening. There are bombs going off. The lack of sound is juxtaposed by moments of intensely loud sequences, where we switch perspective from one character to another, or maybe the character's sensory experience changes within that scene. Either way, the experience is pretty jarring. This is how I can only assume war must feel. Humans are guided by their unique sensory experiences, so this makes sense. War must feel like all senses have been heightened, with the most important senses being visual and hearing. Both are advantageous in wartime. It's not like this movie is the first to do this, but it does it in a way that I believe no other film has. Not to mention, these are real experiences of the soldiers involved and the family that was invaded during this time. Their home was invaded during this time. There's no music in the film either, and admittedly, music in a movie can make it somewhat manipulative. It tells you what to feel and when to feel it. Taking that away made the film seem more true to its mission. Tell a story about what war really looks like, not a flimsy characterization of what people think war looks like, or about heroes and bad guys. The actual story about how it feels to be in that position, how it feels to come up against the potential that you may die or that your friends may die. Some people online argued that because the movie is from a Navy SEAL's perspective, that it lacks accuracy. Most books/movies from soldiers' perspectives are fraught with lies and controversy surrounding the true events. And for that reason, that makes this movie seem like it has no merit. But I would argue that these people are missing the point. The idea is not to give the most accurate portrayal of this particular event. This is not a play-by-play interested in accuracies and monotonous facts about what actually happened. Warfare means to give the audience the most accurate portrayal of what war looks like from the perspective of people that are within its walls. It doesn't matter that their memories are potentially exaggerated. It doesn't matter that their perspective is skewed. What matters is that these experiences sit with soldiers in this way, because war is not an experience that happens in one way. It happens in many different ways because everyone's perspective during that time is different. If we had gotten the perspective of the family whose house had been used as the backdrop for the events in the film, I could guarantee you that there would have been a much different story there. But as it stands, does it matter? There are no heroes in war. There are only people. Everyone thinks they're the good guy. Everyone thinks that the other side is the bad guy. And no matter what perspective you look at this from, everyone is changed. Everyone has suffered immensely from problems that could have been solved in pretty much any other way. But still, we choose to initiate war. People choose to blindly go into every situation thinking that they are good guys. So much so that things start to blur a bit. It's not like there's an easy answer either. I'm not saying that. And there are so many more questions here than answers. I don't think there are any answers here, actually. In a perfect world, no one would go to war, and there would just be compromises that made sense. Is that reasonable in the current state of things? No, probably not, because there exists a world with oppressors, greed, and hostile takeovers. You cannot compromise with the subjugation, enslavement, and annihilation or potential annihilation of an entire ethnic group or of people in general. But to never question for whom you do your bidding is a mistake, because the subjugation isn't limited to those you fight. It includes those who fight on behalf of empires, who use their people as sacrificial lambs to further their greedy agendas. Many times you are just as enslaved as the people you fight against, and you have more in common than you think. Finding that common ground is one of the most important things you can do to make sure you take care of yourself and the people around you. I'm off script now. I think this is probably one of the most important messages that Alex Garland has been trying to convey and probably will continue to convey throughout the next couple of years or decade, however long it takes. I think just watching his work throughout the years have such a path of don't allow yourself to be controlled. Don't allow yourself, even Ex Machina, you could look at Ex Machina, you could look at Men, you can look at his body of work just says something about what he wants to say, and that's every director. And for what he wants to say specifically, I feel like it is something that resonates with me on a much larger scale. As somebody who has dealt with mental health issues especially for the past year, I think that it's not just important for the outside world to not control you, but for you to also not be controlled by the things that go on internally. But this specific movie does seem to speak to a larger concept of what's going on in our world right now. And so it's important to understand that war is not something that you should want. War is not something that you should strive for. It is not a fun experience that you're not going to go in guns blazing and come out a hero. It's just going to be bad. That's just how war is. It's bad. It's sad. It's tragic. It'll forever change you. Even if you think that it won't, it will. So, yeah, I hope you guys like this review. I know it's sort of out of nowhere. Been dealing with a lot of stuff and been pretty thoughtful. So I thought I'd just kind of put things out there about Alex Garland's work specifically, because I think that it's just so poignant right now. If you like this video, like the video. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps out. I've been growing. It's slow, but we're getting there. Okay. See you later. Bye.